One of the best-selling cameras with interchangeable lenses is the Canon M50. It sold a ton in the last few years, but can Sony's new camera take it out? Can Sony's new camera be the best-selling camera? And that's why in this video, we'll be talking about the predicted specs, the rumors and things about this new Sony camera that will come out in 2021, but we'll be looking at some stuff. But just stick around a little bit toward the end of all that information, because I will, at the end of this video, share my top YouTube camera picks, which if you're looking to get started right now on YouTube, I would choose these two cameras. So stick around for that. And so if we're just meeting, my name is Omar with Think Media, one of the content creators, and I'm pumped to get on this talk about this rumored camera. If you're team Canon or Sony, let me know in the comments below. You can say Team Canon or Team Sony. I want to know what you're about. But so we'll be talking about this quote unquote new Sony camera that is kind of surfacing on the internet, and I'm super pumped about it. And so getting into this live stream, I just want to talk about our sponsor, which is StreamYard. This is how I'm actually conducting this live stream. It's one of the easiest uses to be able to live stream to multiple platforms. You could bring on guests. I love how I can just easily change, slides and positions, and you can brand it. As you can see, the Think Media logo on the top of the screen. But StreamYard is an incredible tool if you're looking to live stream, whether on Facebook, on YouTube. And so if you want to check that out, you can check out a special link in the description below. So shout out to StreamYard for giving us this sponsor. But I'm pumped to get into this and talk about this next camera. And so with that being said, there's essentially like two situations that might be happening. Okay. The first situation is a camera very similar to the Sony ZV-1. So this on Sony rumors is a ZV-E mount price that will be around $900 here in the US, or 900 euro. How about if you want to translate USD to euro, just add $1 and you got it. I'm a bank teller now. No, I'm just kidding. But this is huge. So you're telling me that this ZV-1 right here with the flip up screen would have an E mount like any other, interchangeable lens Sony. And so, I created the thumbnail kind of based off of merging these two cameras, but the Sony ZV-1's a great camera to get started with because it's so easy to use. But maybe one of its biggest flaws is that it is a fixed lens. It's a built-in lens. It's a point and shoot camera that will limit you. So could Sony put an interchangeable lens with kind of this body style? I mean, I think that would be really awesome. I mean, even what's cool about the ZV-1 is it's kind of become this like cult of a camera where you can like build out your own rig. So, you can kind of beef it out with like this thing. And so when I think about like the battery grip or something, it'll probably be something like this, in regards to like how it'll feel in hand. So you can put maybe a bigger battery, but I ain't too concerned about battery life. Just buy more batteries and you'll be all right, But what's really cool is, for real, that interchangeable lens. I think that can change everything. That's kind of why the M50 and the ZV-1 stack up really nice against each other. And so this is option number one. This would be a $900 option. Option number two would be this APS-C, which is kind of like Sony's crop censored camera. So like the A6400 or similar to the A7C. The picture that you see right here is the A7C. And it's a nice body style. So let me show you real quick. This is the A6400 real quick, big guy. So the size is really great with the A6400, but has a flip up screen. And this is obviously pre-articulating screen Sony days. But this right here is the Sony A7C. You guys are like, Omar, how many cameras you got, dog? Like, let me just get one of those and I'd be all right. Hey, it's that blessed life. You know what I'm saying? Favor ain't fair. No, I'm just kidding. But this is the A7C. This is a full frame body style camera. So they really took the A7 III and made it small. And there's probably going to be a nice merge. This is option number two, a merge of these two cameras of a potential new camera. But I want to kind of break down cameras. Omar's camera count 3. That's right. I want to break down, though, kind of like what do these two options look like. But before I do, I wanted to talk through a little bit about this second option real quick. It's this person who wrote this, rumor. And so, I mean, I don't work for Sony. I didn't sign any ND, no non-disclosure agreements or anything. But this person says, I've been able to see the real camera and I'm 100% sure. That's pretty sure. That's like really sure. 100% sure that it's going to be a 24 megapixel sensor, which is pretty standard. It's not really going to be high end, but it's more of a complex vlogger camera. But this guy uses the A7C to show it off. So I'm like, it might be a good crop sensor camera and a usual improvement taken on the A7C. So those are like the two kind of things he mentions. But I just want to talk about why the M50 is a great camera and why it probably is the best-selling camera for interchangeable lenses and content creators that are buying this camera. And I would say here, number one, it's easy to use. Canons just make great cameras that are easy to use, just generally speaking. Secondly is the size. It's just small in nature. I actually live stream with the Canon M50. So I'm using the Canon M50 for this shot and I'm using the Canon M50 for this shot. And so I love the Canon M50. It's a great camera. I love that flip out screen. I love the size. The price is great. If you buy M50 Mark I brand new with the kit lens, you're looking at $650. If you want to get the M50 Mark II brand new, it's going to be $700 with the kit lens. And if you've never seen our comparison video on that, you can check it out later. But they're not too much of a difference between the Mark I and Mark II. So a lot of what I'm saying kind of just goes for both cameras. The autofocus in 1080 is great. You don't have to worry about yourself being in or out of focus when it comes to using the M50. There's a mic jack input. So if you want to upgrade the audio, obviously you can do that or put a shotgun mic on top of it. Because it's interchangeable lenses, you can upgrade the lens. And we've loved using things like, the Viltrox adapter to add on Canon EF mounts, which allows it to be great for photography. So let's just say you got the Canon Nifty 50, the Viltrox mount. You kind of have like a full frame camera setup with just an additional $200 to $300 upgrade. But all that to say, that's what makes the M50 great. However, with all things great comes some things that aren't so great, right? So what are some things that make the M50 not so great? I think number one, 1000% has to be the fact that it has unusable 4K. Like you can use it. It has 4K, but it's unusable in the fact that there's an incredible crop when you hop into 4K, and then you lose your autofocus capabilities. Therefore, it's just starting to hunt, and it's not really going to grab your face or whatever you're wanting to be in focus. And so that's just a huge flaw of both the Canon M50 Mark I and Mark II. I would say the video quality, in the sense that now you can get, $800 cameras that have much sharper image quality and shoot 4K usable 4K with great autofocus. And so there's something to say about the video quality that as time goes on, it's really starting to lose its track record when it comes to just looking as sharp as possible. I think it's funny that I don't know what the other option of what's an anti-clean HDMI. I think it's just a dirty HDMI. I mean, what the opposite of clean is dirty. But the Canon M50 Mark I has an HDMI that can't remove your info on the screen. Meaning, if you want to live stream with the first Canon M50, it's gonna be a little bit tough. You're gonna have to know your camera a little bit, know how to manually focus on your face and take away your display settings and things like that. Another reason it's not so great as far as the native lens options. They haven't made too many EFM mount lenses. So it's kind of like, yeah, you don't need every lens in the world. And I always tell people, you don't need every lens in the world. You just need the right lens, right, for what you're trying to do. And there are great selections for those lenses, but there's something to say that when you buy a camera, you're essentially tapping into a lens ecosystem. So, your camera could last 10 years, but it would be so much more fun to have a camera that lasts 10 years with the experimentation of all these lenses that you could put on it if you so desire to get into landscape photography or things like that. You just want to level up what you're using it for. I think another not so great thing is the digital image stabilization. So although Canon's M50 doesn't have a internal, IBIS, which is in-body image stabilization, that's hardware. That's like the camera itself does really well at making smooth video. There's a digital IS, which when you turn it on, it's going to crop in your image. And so it kind of, I think it's just one thing to think about when you're thinking about the M50. But with that being said, pairing this contrast to what would be awesome, what are some of these predictions? What would we like to see in Sony's new camera? And, I kind of photoshopped the photo, the thumbnail of this video, but also this photo that you see here, it's kind of photoshopped. This is the Sony ZV-1 with the EF mount on it, or the E mount on it. This is Sony's lens for crop censored cameras. And so some of these predictions for this $900 option of a camera, which let me know in the comments what you think about a $900 camera. Is that on the pricey side for you, or is that pretty fair in regards to, I don't know, inflation and the fact that you can't really get a camera right now, and the fact that, it might do things that you wish cheaper cameras can do? All that taken into consideration, let me know what you think about that $900 price point. But things we'd like to see, obviously, we'd like to see a flip out screen. More and more people are creating content. Like literally the fastest growing small business type right now is becoming a content creator, which is crazy to think. But if you can turn on a camera and make great content, you could probably create some income. And this is the fastest way to create income right now. And so that's crazy. But yes, flip up screen would be nice. I think 4K up to 60 frames per second would be not too much to ask, as up to this point, we've been getting cameras with 4K up to 30 frames, meaning there is 24 and 30 frames, but being able to hop into slow motion and not bringing down your video quality will be nice. Sony's haven't been too fond of having great 1080. And what I mean by that, this is kind of going deep. We're nerding out, okay? So just bear with me a little bit. I'm gonna do my best to explain. But oftentimes, like the Sony a6400 or even the a7C or the a7 III, when you don't shoot in 4K, the 1080 picture is noticeably different. It's a little bit more muddy. It's not as crisp. And Canons do a good job at, Canons that have 4K, they do a good job at being able to have great 1080 nonetheless, also have great 4K. So all that to say, would love 4K 60 frames per second for some good slow-mo. And like I said, some sharp 1080p if I had to drop down for live streaming or more storage space or what have you. This is a big thing, I think, in my opinion, is Sony's new colors. Sony has, in the last year or so, adopted new colors into their cameras. And this has been a huge debate amongst creators, is Canon's colors just look so much better than Sony's colors. I think what makes a great beginner's camera is a camera that you don't have to, or is an image that you don't have to tweak. You don't need a color grade. Can you? Sure. But like, you just need to turn on the camera, look good on camera, and it should look good straight out of camera. And so I would appreciate Sony's new colors. They have a profile called Cinetone, and it's just a phenomenal color base with a straight out of camera color setup for Sony's. And so I would appreciate new Sony colors. Obviously, the E-mount lens on this new camera would be really nice. And I think one thing that's so cool about Sony cameras is when I mentioned about the Canon M50 ecosystem of lenses. When you buy a Sony camera, every lens you buy that is Sony or meant for that mount could be used for any Sony camera. So if you buy a crop censored lens for your A6400, then you could, when you buy a new camera, like let's just say an A7C, you can use that lens with an A7C. Obviously, if it's not too wide or what have you. But I just love that Sony did that right off the get-go. Like, hey, let's just hook them up now. And so if they buy our cameras, they'll never have to throw away their lenses or buy adapters and what have you. And so that would be huge. The ZV-1 with a lens mount would be just a cool thing. And so little things I think would be really cool to add to this camera are this cool ZV-1 features. I think these are features that a lot of new creators actually appreciate. Features like product showcase mode, meaning when you hold something up in front of a camera, does it focus on your face? But since my Canon has face tracking, it doesn't do it. But product showcase mode essentially is how this will focus in as I bring it up. You see how it just focused? that's product showcase mode, and the ZV-1 has that ability. So if you are doing product reviews, maybe you do beauty or something like that, and you're holding up a makeup stick or something, anything, it'll focus on whatever's closest to the camera. And it's just a nice intuitive way for beginner creators, right? Another cool feature that the ZV-1 has is beauty mode, where it does soften your skin a little bit. And I'm sure a lot of the fellas can appreciate that, you know, making sure that your face follicles aren't showing too much. All that to say, these are some cool things. Just kind of want to jet through the rest of these. I think a great onboard mic. I think what's so cool about the ZV-1 is that the ZV-1 has you don't have to plug in a mic. You can upgrade because there is a mic jack input, but the mic that's built into the ZV-1 is a phenomenal onboard mic if you are vlogging. I think it's fair to have something along the lines of IBIS, you know, something that where if I am vlogging with this, that there isn't too much shake. And real quick, the Joker Production House asks, can you please tell the approximate release date for this camera? Here's the insight I have is that they were planning on actually releasing the information on this rumored camera today, May 26th, at the time of doing this live stream. And because Panasonic actually had, and this could go away, but this is like really inside, but because Panasonic had a camera that was coming out today, or at least the information about that camera, that they put off on hold on this new Sony camera. So that's as far as I know. Dang, Omar, how do you know so much about? I have no idea. Maybe just because I'm a nerd. Obviously, a small body would be nice. Clean HDMI. This is standard stuff that Sony's have had for the last few years now. The next thing real quick is the predictions for the replacement. If it's a more higher end, you know, crop censored camera, I think more than anything before, I mean, not having to go through all of this, I just think it should be that like Sony would be awesome for putting out a camera that can be a great B cam to the Sony a7S III. We've been using the Sony a7S III here at Think Media to do our formal videos, like our tutorials and things like that, our product reviews, and we've been loving it. It would be nice though to like not have to spend that money to have a second or third one for the use of secondary angles or podcasting or what have you. So all that to say, I think simply put, I do think a usable B cam to the a7S III, that would mean 4K 10-bit. And if you don't know what that means, that just means you have the ability to, you know, really play with your dynamic range and colors with a camera like this. So this is a little bit more on like the prosumer side, being able to really tweak some stuff and grow with your camera. I think 4K 120p would be awesome. As it is, would be a little brother to the a7S III. Again, new Sony colors. I think that's the new expectation with the A7C body style. I've been using the A7C for photography lately, and I genuinely love this body style. Like, I mean, I don't use too much the viewfinder, but because the body style is nice and it's still a powerful full frame camera, I just love how this feels. So it'd be really cool to really see that in this new Sony, if they so desire to replace the A6600, which is right now their most expensive crop censored camera on the market. Obviously, a flip out screen, full size HDMI would be nice, just so that if you are live streaming, you don't have to get like weird adapters or special cables because it's a prosumer camera. And right now, the A6600 is about a $1,700 camera to come with the kit lens. And so I think at that price point, at this point, it'd be nice to have. So with that being said, what do you think about those specs? What are some specs you want to see in this new Sony? I'm pumped. I'm pumped about more or less that $900 price point. So if it really is kind of this body style with a lens mount, I would be happy. Why? Because I have Sonys, I have Sony lenses. And so being able to get a camera like this, I can easily start leveling up the quality and how my image looks. And so one flaw of the ZV-1 is that at 24 millimeters, it's not all that wide. So, you know, if you wanted to vlog with the ZV-1, it's just not going to give you that super wide look that a lot of people look for when they're, you know, wanting to vlog and show off what's behind them. You have to buy this like adapter for it, which is about $50, but then it just becomes like this weird little setup of a camera that you start using. And so I wouldn't go too far as to say you would actually just want a wider, the ability to upgrade the lens and just get that super wide look up front. And so again, what features would you like to see in those potential new cameras? Would love to hear from you. And like I promised, I wanted to tell you what I think the 2 best cameras for YouTube right now are. And this is so important because the reality is you just need to start creating content. The reality is you need to just hit record. And as much as I love the camera stuff, when people get caught up in the tech and in the gears and you're like, oh man, if this camera does come out, oh man, I am going to start creating content. I mean, as far as like the principle of stewardship is, if you can't be trusted with $1, how can you be trusted with $1,000? You know, if you're not producing content now, what makes you think that you'll probably start producing content once you spend the money and get a camera? I've met hundreds and hundreds of people who've gotten all the gear and they have yet to create content. So with that being said, there are great cameras that you can buy right now, and you can get them used for a great deal because they're out now and they're usable. And so with that being said, the first one, can you guess what the first camera that I'm going to recommend? I mean, it's the Canon M50. The Canon M50 is a phenomenal camera. But Omar, you just said like the Canon M50 is a phenomenal camera. We have 1.6 million subscribers, and I'm using the Canon M50 to live stream right now. What's it to say that who cares? I mean, it looks great. I mean, what do you think? I think it looks pretty good. Why did, you know, that's pretty crispy. Got the drip crisp blurry background in the back. And that's partially because of my lens. I'm using the Sigma 16 millimeter lens. I know somebody asked that in the comments, but the Canon M50 is still reigning true. It is the best selling camera with interchangeable lenses in its size range. And there's a lot that you can go after in regards to the used market if you are in a pinch for a deal. But I haven't met anybody who's purchased the Canon M50 and has regretted it. I think there's something to say about that it's just a tried and true camera, has all the features you will need in order to get great videos out. And if you didn't know, your smartphone right now, for the most part, at the time of shooting this, can't stream, or it can't play you 4K videos. And so even if you're on YouTube, you know, watching YouTube videos, you're not going to be able to watch 4K quality on that. It's really only for like desktop and laptop users. So that's just something to keep in mind. You don't need 4K, but if you want 4K, I would recommend the Sony ZV-1. The Sony ZV-1 is a phenomenal camera straight out of the box. You don't have to worry about lenses. You don't have to worry about autofocus. You can shoot in 4K. I think the image quality of 4K is better than the Canon M50's image quality. These are very similar in price, whereas the Sony ZV-1 brand new comes in at around $700. But again, you can shop used. And if you didn't know this, I actually made a comparison video between the Canon M50 and the ZV-1. And that comparison video will give you the insight, the features, and it'll compare both of these cameras against each other. And so if you need to buy a camera today, go ahead and check out that video, and you need to get started on YouTube. Check out that video, the Canon M50 versus the ZV-1, and I know you're going to be confident to make that next purchase on the camera that you're going to use to create content. Thanks so much for checking out this video. Make sure you click or tap the screen and check out that video, and I can't wait to see you in a future one. Peace.